Bring you guys episode number 2 of the road from $10,000 all the way to $1 million, all documented on YouTube through option trading. This was actually the toughest time for me as an entrepreneur. This covers from March all the way to September. So I remember last video we brought it from $10,000 to $50,000 within 3 months. In this video, we went through a dark path, almost growing the account from over $100,000 to bring it down a huge amount within 2 weeks. It was a very tough time for me. Dropshipping wasn't doing good, options trading wasn't going well, and I lost a lot of progress that I went through throughout the year. I'll be showing you guys pretty much all the trades and the whole trade list. I'll pop up on the screen how difficult of a time it was for people in the Discord, some of my friends and myself. I'll pop up some screens of some accounts. It was very, very ugly. And just stick through this video. I'm sure you're going to want to stick through this video, learn some lessons from myself losing money so you guys don't repeat it yourself. Before getting into the video, if you're into one-on-one e-commerce coaching, we have a link in the description below for free. If you guys need fulfillment services, link in the description below. And finally, if you guys want to join a trading community with like-minded individuals to motivate each other, it's also in the description below. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. I divided the trading logs into different chapters, which is the individual video that I'll be scrolling through. So for example, last video was chapter 1, this video will be chapter 2, and next video will be chapter 3. So here's the trading log for March all the way to September, and we went through a rough patch, like I said. Now I won't be going over every single trade just because that'll be too long, and I learned a lot of lessons through this. So the yellow highlighted trades are the ones that I'll go through, and the rest I learned a big lesson. So I ran up the account to almost here, as you can see in July, it touched $76,000 when I cashed out from Tesla in July. So after that, I went heavier into Coinbase, and the account peaked at $110,000 in July. I can show through the graph, and in the span of 2 weeks from the end of July to mid-August, when the market tanked with war news as well as the carry trade, my portfolio went from $110,000 to $23,000. I learned to not have several positions open at once, not go into shorter dated positions, and instead go into longer dated positions. Wait for your thesis to play out, as what I've learned is 10 out of 10 of my trades end up panning out. It's just a matter of time. So buying time is very important for me. In the next video, I'll be sizing up heavier and having fewer positions in less fields. And as you guys can see in this video, I had positions 3 weeks out. I had positions like a month out. A lot of the did pan out at first because the market was hot. And I learned that when the market is hot, you should go heavier. When the market is hot, you should take full advantage of it. Grind it out. When the market is cold, you should exit positions. For example, when we see an island top on QQQ, which I saw in July but decided not to get out of positions. Less is more. So I learned a lot from this. I won't be going into several positions anymore. I'll be sizing heavier and sticking to, I want to say, 2 to 5 positions at a time. So I ended up playing a lot of earnings run up, which I'll never do again. I ended up following Big Flow, which when the market is hot has worked out. I ended up pursuing several positions, anticipating a Bitcoin breakout on the weekly chart. So playing it with Coin and Mara was the plan. Tesla, I'll go through the video. Huge play that ran up the account heavy. Apple was a huge winner. The rest I don't even want to really talk about. They were meaningless positions. I would never take them again. And for me to size up like I did and lose money for nothing is a big lesson learned for me. Also, another thing is sizing is very important in trades. I learned that sizing and conviction means more than opening several smaller positions in this TFSA trading account, which by the way is all tax-free here in Canada, which is the Roth IRA in the States. Everything is swing trading, nothing is day trading. We are following the rules here. I remember entering Tesla March 26th here after a headline. So I started seeing a smaller inverse head and shoulder here, and it was coming off a long-term downtrend when the market was hot. So I was positioning for a play to run up to this trend line, this long-term weekly trend line. And I did the calculation. If I entered around, which I did here, and would play all the way to around, my plan was to get out at around 230, 225, 230, playing it all the way to this trend line, positioning very far out, and catching the whole move. Tesla, when the RSI is around 30, as you guys can see here, has always marked the bottom. And that's one thing I learned with Tesla, playing it for years. And Tesla is the ticker that I play the most. So I know this stock like the back of my hand. My contracts went from 8.5 when I entered to actually $2. So it kept tanking, and then earnings saved it. After earnings, I started seeing a base formation here. And seasonality wise, June and July are very good for EVs and especially Tesla. So I started seeing this weekly inverse head and shoulder forming. I held the position all the way to, I believe, here, and cashed out the rest of my position on this ugly candle over here. So this was a huge trade for me. Breaking this weekly trend line. Obviously, it ended up coming back down on the weekly and monthly. But nevertheless, this was a huge trade for me, and my first huge winner where I sized up and the whole thesis played out. So this trade gave me a lot of confidence into what you guys will see more in episode 3. Moving along, the next trade is the Bitcoin trade. So we had this infinite weekly bull flag on Bitcoin, which lasted around, I believe, 6 months and broke out when Trump won the presidency. I got in Coinbase around here and played this one. My contract went from 10 to 25. I did not cash out. I know, I'm stupid, but I did not cash out. It came back down here in July and quickly bounced back up. And my contract went from 10 to 25 back to 4, and then from 4 back to 18, and I still didn't cash out because I said this test, it's going to break out. Then the Japanese carry trade and war news were coming into the market, and Bitcoin tanked. My position went to 0. And this was a failed trade. I sized heavy in multiple positions. Don't ask me why. I just was so confident in this breakout that I put so much money on the line and ended up basically losing it all. But this, if I would have positioned a year out, would have panned out perfectly, because this weekly bull flag, alongside monetary policy easing, cutting rates, Trump presidency basically being a lock after him getting shot, and him being very pro-crypto, this was a no-brainer for me, and I really wanted to catch this trade. Ended up failing for me, which is also the reason why I got into SQ. SQ looked good at the time, stage 1, and I was anticipating a stage 1 breakout off of Bitcoin breaking out. Obviously that didn't pan out till later. Same thing with Mara. Mara, I thought this breakout here would send us, and that was the reason for my positioning. ServiceNow was a huge winner for me. So earnings were coming up, and I entered around here with this huge weekly flag, anticipating a breakout. I said if 800 breaks on ServiceNow, it's headed straight to 1,000. And this obviously ended up panning out, but I'll get into what I did at the end of the video and why I did not hold this trade through. Now, 2 other trades that I regret is going in trying to catch a falling knife. So the market was tanking from the Japanese carry trade as well as the war headlines. and I ended up buying the dip, trying to time a bottom, which is also a lesson learned for me. I won't do that ever again unless the market's in a steep correction. At the time, it wasn't too steep yet. I tried getting into Tesla because it had relative strength. I got in here. After the huge move, I thought it was flagging over here, and I entered over here. I'm like off support here. After this huge move, it's due for a bounce back. Little did I know, it kept dipping because the market kept dipping. And I got in on this day actually, and I remember at the time I thought I bought the bottom. I entered a contract at 4.65. I bought it around here off support, and the contract ended up going to the same day, I think up like 30-40%. So I was victory lapping, and then it got rugged. Kept running up, and my contract was almost at 2x at one point, which ended up panning out. I ended up playing the earnings run up. I said Nvidia would save the market, so I held the trade through, and the market capitulated here. Everything bottomed on August 5th. I played the run up to Nvidia earnings. It was flagging here, and I believe this was the day of earnings. It was flagging here, and I said earnings would break it out. This is going to be a huge winner. Again, very stupid of me. My contract was up 2x. My account wasn't in a great place after losing a lot of money on Coinbase. And the market kept tanking in September after earnings. So, back to the trading log here. And a lot of lessons learned. I ended up capitulating on the account, closing every single trade, as you guys can see here. Some even to the penny. Look at this. I ended up cashing out the whole account, dropping from $110,000 to $23,000. Cashing out the whole account, having a fresh mind, and you guys will see a crazy comeback in the next video. After I sold these huge positions on September 3rd, I went all in to one position and ran up the account back to all-time highs and much more. So stay tuned for the next video. It's a crazy one with a lot of winners. I think all of the trades were winners. And yeah, this journey for me has been crazy. This year has been crazy. From the highs to the lows. I'm forever grateful for all these experiences. I learned so much from this, and I hope to hit the $1 million mark sometime next year and complete this challenge for YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions from the video, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. All I want to say is stay tuned for the next video in this series. It's a crazy one. You guys do not want to miss it. Peace.